YouTube. So as you can see, I got my golds in. I'm too hype about them. So I want to do my makeup and discuss a really juicy topic. So I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was telling her how I could never, ever date somebody who is still programmed by the Matrix, because it's like they're not really their true selves. They just a programmed bot at this point. I don't want to date something that's just robotic. So as I was explaining to her what I meant, I had to bring up ego deaths. I don't know if y'all ever heard of ego death. You know, we have our own definition of ego, like the mainstream typical definition, which is just like you're full of yourself. But what I mean when I say ego, and what spiritual people mean when they say ego, or awakened individuals, what they mean is basically your ego is just who you think you are, who you think of yourself as, what you think of your personality as, like who you think you are as a person, who you identify as, the labels that you identify with. It's pretty much what your ego is. It really just makes you human. It just is the type of human that you are, the human that you think of yourself as or have labeled yourself as. All right. So when you hear the term ego death, it's really just a metaphor of that ego, who you think of yourself as, dying. That identity that you once had of yourself is dead. It's been killed. It's gone. Some people in the spiritual community don't really like the term, because they don't really like it because some people have kind of took it and ran with it and like try to literally like not have an ego. And by the end of the conversation, you'll probably understand why they try to do that, but you can't. Like, an ego is genuinely what makes you human. It's just who you think of yourself as, like just like that piece and part of your soul that attaches you to like this human experience, to thinking of yourself as like your human self. Who are you as a human? Who are you as a person? Like, you won't be able to kill that. Of course you can change it, but you won't be able to kill that, because it's just really identity is really all that it is. So don't go and try to live your life with no ego. Anyway, so when you experience ego death, when I experienced ego death, it's legit like who you think of yourself as dies. That person that's who you thought you were, that you identified with, you realize isn't real. Like, that's what awakening is. It's just you waking up to the truth, and the fact that who you thought yourself to be isn't really who you are. And also it's who you were programmed to be by the Matrix. You realize that who you are, who you think yourself as, isn't real, and it's not truly you. It's not your true self. For example, right? So in 2020, before 2020, I probably would have thought of myself as a Black African-American woman from Florida who is a Democrat and Christian, right? That's what I would have like just thought of myself as, for example, right? And there became a point in my life at this time, which was in 2020. And I just remember during this time, this was definitely a time for everyone to experience awakening, because it just, all we could do was just sit in our houses, because this was during COVID. All we could do was just sit in our house, reflect, and be with yourself. We spent a lot of time with ourselves, reflecting, whether you were even conscious about it or not, whether you were consciously doing that or not. That's what was happening, because we weren't able to do anything and to go anywhere. And so I was spending a lot of this time reflecting, and as I was doing that, I was just asking those like big life questions. Like, I just felt like for some reason around this time, I just felt like something was missing. I felt like there's gotta be more. I felt like there was some void Like, I felt like I was missing a piece to the puzzle. I felt like I was misunderstanding life and what it really meant. And I felt really weird. I felt unsatisfied. I felt unhappy with the thought that this is what life, all that life had to offer. And I just felt like I wasn't being told everything, especially with the COVID shit. I felt like I wasn't being told everything. And so it just really put me in a position to just ask these questions. And this is why questioning is everything. This is why questioning is so important, and why my motto is to question every single thing. Because if you don't question it, you will not open yourself up to the possibility of another answer. You will not open yourself up to the possibility of it being different, of it looking different, of it not being what you thought it was. You have to open yourself up to that so that you can receive it. Because if you don't open yourself up to it, you won't receive the answer if you don't ask the question. You know what I'm saying? And so when I begin to question these things, I always explain it like it just started to take me on this journey of discovery, really, and of truth. And it's like I had on this backpack and I would ask a question, and it's like God, the universe, my spirit guides, like, would hear me, and they would place gems in front of me on this path. And I'd take a few steps. I'll pick up the gem, I'll look at it, examine it, analyze it, put it in my backpack. I'll walk some more, find another gem, pick it up, examine it, analyze it, put it in my backpack. And I just continue to do this. I continue to ask these questions. I continue to be shown the truth. I continue to awaken and ascend up out of the matrix. And I started to ask myself those hard questions, not just asking the universe, but asking me internally, how do I feel about this? Do you really identify with Christianity, or are you just being a Christian because you were raised to be, because you were brought up to be, because everyone before you was brought up to be, because everyone around you is, because you don't know any other way of life? You know what I'm saying? Did I choose that religion, or was that religion forced upon me? Was I given that religion and I just accepted it because I didn't know that I didn't have to, or that I could have chosen something else? You know what I'm saying? I started to ask myself that. I started to ask myself, am I a Democrat? Am I voting Dem because society has told me to? Because I've been taught that people of color are supposed to? Because I've been told that that's what would benefit me the most? Is that really what I want? Do I really actually want that? Or am I just doing it just because I've been told to, and I've never questioned it and never went against it? So I just started doing it, and it's just been whatever, right? I started to ask myself those hard questions. And it was honestly a hard time for me. I had a hard time because you're starting to break up that programming. It's starting to, you know what I'm saying? When you put yourself in that position to ask, you're putting yourself in the position of it possibly being something else. I had never put myself there before, right? That's why questioning is so important. So I began to have like this identity crisis of who am I, bro? Like, who am I? What do I want? Who do I really think of myself as? Who am I really? Like, because now that I'm looking at these things, I don't really like these things that I identify with. Not only that, but I'm starting to see and realize that I've only been told to identify with these things for ill intentions, for a nefarious agenda. So like, what is really going on? And that's really the sum of ego death. It really honestly makes you feel like you're at rock bottom, because you just have lived your life for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years as this person that you identified with and thought you were and thought that's who you chose to be. And now you're realizing and being shown something else completely different, being shown the opposite. It's mind-boggling. Like, really it is. It's wild to think that my entire life my existence, of who I am as a human being. I was told to be that person. I didn't choose to be that person. Like, that's a crazy realization to come to. And you're blessed if you come to that realization. Like, you are blessed, because it's not easy to get there, because everyone don't ask those hard questions. Everyone does not want to ask those hard questions. Everyone don't even get to the point where they think they can ask those questions or can even fathom asking that. Hopefully, I hope that makes sense. And when I was explaining this to my friend, she was like, bro, like, that's kind of scary. I was like, honestly, it's not scary, but it damn sure feel like it. Like, in the moment, it does feel scary. I mean, having an identity crisis like that big, it's not something little in your life, but the entire world is different than what you thought it was. The entire construct of society is different than what you thought it was. You realize that everything that ever has crossed your path, or everything that you've experienced or been involved in, whether it was school, whether it was religion, whether it's the media, what you've seen on TV, what you've seen on the news, movies, whether it was society, whether it was the government, politics, whether it was even your parents, your family, your friends, everything has been infiltrated by this matrix and has been used as a tool to control society, including you. And when you come to that realization, that shit is scary. That shit feels very scary, because it's like you don't really know what to do with that. What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what to do with this information. Like, what? Like, this is crazy to me. It is. It does feel scary in the moment, because you're lost. You feel lost in those moments, for sure. And anybody who's experienced it can vouch for that. I mean, your identity just died. Like, it just died on you. Like, everything that you thought has been killed. The whole world is completely fake, and it's just this fake matrix construct that was created. And you begin again to ascend and see and look at the world and just look around and be like, bro, everything is created for control and power. Everybody is moving on autopilot like robots, programmed by the society, and they don't even know it. I didn't even know it. I've been programmed and acting like a robot this whole time, and I didn't even know it. What the fuck? But wait, there's more. On the other side of that fear, and on the other side of that bravery to be able to really ask yourself those hard questions and really allow yourself to be able to change and receive truth, because truth can feel scary and can feel ugly at times. But what's really, honestly, and truly so beautiful about this experience is that from then on out, you get to choose who you want to be. The free will that we all have, that we don't all utilize, even though we think that we maybe, the free will to choose, just to simply choose for yourself, has now taken over. You're no longer in autopilot. You get to choose who you want to be. You get to choose your identity. Not the matrix, not the constructs of society that's been created. You get to choose who you want to identify with and who you want to identify as. And that is the most beautiful thing. One of the most beautiful things that I've really discovered in this life is that free will to get to choose for myself. I would experience the horrors and the fears of an ego death any day to be able to then choose my future path on how I want to exist and who I want to exist as. Because I can tell you what I was programmed with, I don't fuck with none of those things, okay? I don't actually, my true self, my higher self, my soul self does not fuck with those things for real, okay? It's not even real, all right? Stop voting. I learned that the best way to create change is to go out and do it yourself. not to cast a vote on a ballot. All right, we've been lied to. Okay, that's the scary part, is like when you realize like you've really been lied to. But at the same time, it's like, how surprised can you really be? I mean, we know that the government is just disgusting and evil at this point. They've just done evil stuff in the past. We know all the evil stuff that they've done. Why would they just stop there? They don't. Anyway, that's just the side. I could be getting sidetracked. But the beautiful thing is that you get to choose. It's like this clean slate. Who, all that you are, all that you've thought of yourself as, all that you've identified and labeled yourself with is gone. It doesn't exist for you anymore. And then from there, you get to build up who you want to be. You get to create the you that you want to see for yourself, the you that you want to be. Okay, not trying to spit bars, lucky, but you get to create that. And that is like, it just feels so good. It's so liberating. It's so free. It's such a freeing experience. It just feels so good. Now you get to operate as your real self, your real purpose on why you came to earth in the first place. What's your mission? What's your purpose in life? Now you get to operate within those constructs that you have consciously created for yourself. You consciously created this and built up who you are. Not something else. You know what I'm saying? You're no longer brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? You're no longer programmed by the matrix. And everyone does not experience awakening and ascension in this way. A lot of people do, just because the world we live in is just so bogged down by this matrix, and it has just had such a tight control over society and humanity for so long. It is a common experience that people have, but this ego death that I speak of, like, you don't have to experience that to truly get awakened, you know? So I just really wanted to say that part. You're always going to be programmed, but the question is who you are, what you've actively and consciously programmed yourself with and programmed yourself to be, or did something or someone else program who you are right now? And another great question is, what were their intentions? Why did they program you to believe the things that you do or to be the way that you are? And that, my friends, is why I can't date someone who has not awakened, who is still programmed by the matrix, because I know that I'm not dating the real you. I know that I'm dating the programmed you, the bot you, the robotic you, the you that's on autopilot, the you who was given a personality and who didn't choose their personality, the you who was given labels, the you who is not conscious and not awakened. I can't date that person, being that I've experienced that and have been to the other side of it. And, you know, to be honest, some people choose to still be like religious or to still be like into politics, but, you know, claim ascension or awakening or ego death or whatever. But in my opinion, like, or personally for me, I just can't choose both. I can't be awakened and be religious, like, because of what I know about it. Like, I can't be awakened and still vote, because I've learned even that is fake. You know what I'm saying? But some people, for example, I was talking about this recently with my same friend, and this honestly is kind of how the conversation started. I don't really see why you would want to be gay and be like a Christian, because your entire faith system shuns you. Why would you want that? Like, why would you want to follow this belief system that thinks of you as an abomination and as this low person, you know what I'm saying, who deserves to burn eternally? Why would you accept that as your set of beliefs for your existence? Like, you deserve better than that. Like, I'm gonna just say that. But my whole point, though, forgot my point. That's what I mean when I say, like, a lot of this stuff for me personally, I can't choose both. I can't choose to be, and I am bisexual. I can't choose to be awakened and a Christian, because you just learn through awakening and through ascension that you don't have to have religion to have God. Matter of fact, a lot of these religions have been played with, toyed with, in order to just control and manipulate society. Like, and so I can't accept both of those things. I can't walk forward with both hands. Those gems I was talking about earlier and I was putting in my backpack, those gems, the stuff I've learned will not allow me to have both. Like I can't have both. I feel like maybe that's not even true awakening or true ego death or the true ascension, because you have yet to let go of it all. You have yet to surrender all that you've been programmed with. You have yet to surrender the programming. You have yet to deprogram and reprogram yourself if you still hold on to those things. That's just my opinion. And earlier I forgot to say this part that I just want to say, which was when I was discussing how all of the things in society aids in your programming by the matrix. I named friends, family, parents, and people. And I just wanted to say the reason why I named those things was because you got to think, like, unless your parents and family members and friends and the people around you have really truly awakened and became conscious and ascended this reality that we think is legitimate and real, they're just operating within their programming as well. You know what I'm saying? So everything that they're saying and that they're telling you and the conversations that you're having is being filtered through a matrix programmed. It needs to be stamped with a matrix programming. I need to get a matrix programmed stamped. But it's being filtered through that system. You know what I'm saying? Through a program system that was created by the matrix, not by their true selves as well. And so all the experience that you're experiencing is within this simulation. That's why they call it a simulation, right? Because, like, it's just been created. But the thing is, again, it's always going to be what's created. It's just who is creating it. Right now, the matrix is, right now, whatever you want to call it, the evil elitists, the shadow government, Illuminati, the dark, I don't even know what the fuck else, the cabal, whatever the fuck, all the damn names that you want to call the evils in this world who are at the top and trying to control society and have power over society. You know, right now, most of what the world is at the moment, or has been at least, is what they have created and, you know, wanted to see for the world. And that goes across, like, when you start to, like, get to that point of awakening and stuff, you not only see stuff within yourself, but stuff within the world and within society, how everything was just created for evil shit, basically, is really what you see. Like I was saying, the media, school, like, it's all orchestrated and has, like, it's intentionally, everything has been intentionally placed for this agenda to just keep the vibration low on the planet, to keep humanity from really evolving, from keeping us from becoming one and really holding each other's hands and evolving with growth and with love. You know what I'm saying? And I had to readjust because my legs, but I'm actually still deprogramming and reprogramming myself now, and that's been years. You know, I didn't get here overnight. Like, this shit took time for me to realize this stuff, accumulate all this information and all this knowledge, and apply it to myself, apply it to my life. I'm still doing that. I'm gonna always be, like, applying it to myself, you know what I'm saying, until I transition. But for example, one way is I'm still trying to program myself with manifestation techniques or positivity. Like, I still sometimes have issues with just thinking with an anxious, negative mind, but I know that that's not my highest self, and that serves my highest good. So it's not my highest self because it doesn't serve my highest good, what serves my highest good is me living a happy, positive life, right? So if it's not aiding in that, then that's just not within my true self and what my soul wants, and what's truly important outside of this world, like what I can take with me when I transition. And so I'm still reprogramming that within my mind. You know what I'm saying? My mind wants to think negative and think with anxiety a lot of the time still. And I've been able to recognize that. And that's the first step to changing it, is just realizing that you are the way that you are programmed, or that you are, a negative person, or think with anxiety or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's the first step to changing it, is just realize that it's happening. And so that's still something that I am definitely actively doing, for an example, as a way that I'm still even deprogramming my own self. I've gotten like the big stuff out the way. Like, because I've experienced this fear, it's kind of like nothing scares me. Like I don't have a fear. I don't have real fear for real no more. I still experience fear. It's not that I don't. But once you experience that type of fear, like world shattering type of fear, identity shattering, identity death crisis type of fear, not much really scares you. Like, I could be told tomorrow, I don't know, that maybe something about aliens like coming to Earth or something, like that wouldn't put fear in me. That doesn't scare me like how it used to. Like, I'm still feel fearful, but it's processed differently, and I experience fear differently because of that experience. Because you just start to realize, like, nothing is really what it seems it is. And even if it seems that way, it could be completely different, and it could change. That's why when all this stuff comes out about these celebrities, or these politicians, or these higher ups, these people on these pedestals who have a platform, like the Dalai Lama, for example, like none of that stuff is like surprising for real, because you just start to realize and understand that nothing is as it seems. Like, and so you don't get attached to anything, because when you have that ego death, you realize that really you were just super attached to who you thought you was, and you didn't want to let that go, and you was attached to what you thought the world was. And so it just makes things easier for you to detach from. Like, I'm not attached to anything for real. And that's also another reason why I guess people in the spiritual community feel like ego death, people chasing to kill their ego, is dangerous, because it's like they just want to detach from everything. But obviously you can see why that wouldn't be a good thing to do. But I think people take the term ego death like too literal. It's definitely like a metaphorical term to just explain what the experience is like and what the experience actually is. It's not actually you trying to like kill who you are as a person. It's just, you should be someone as a person. You should just be who you chose to be, who you choose to be, and not what something else has chose you to be. That's what it is. That's the beautiful side, and how you should navigate this experience. So you may be wondering, Avanti, what do you think of yourself as now? Like, okay, so you've reprogrammed your identity. You've chosen it. Who are you? Well, I'm still figuring that out. I have many identities and many labels. I think I am a cool girl from Florida who loves knowledge, truth, information, positivity, love, nature and animals and people, a cool mom, a creator, an alien. Okay, so I usually use this as highlighter. It's like this shimmery eyeshadow. But low-key, I want to see what I can do with this one. I'm thinking maybe I can mix them together, because this is a deep purple. I don't know about like just like this purple as a highlight. Let me swatch it on real quick. Hold on. it stank. This should probably expire. Let's see, I didn't do my eyebrows, and I didn't do a lot of stuff, to be honest, because I'm not going nowhere. So I just honestly just wanted to do something while I talked. Well, I look so 90s. Okay, so I'm done. Thank you guys for listening. I love you. Hopefully you made it to the end. If you did, you a real one, and I fucks with you. And I hope you liked the video.